Hey guys, so I just wanted to show how to draw fib levels and how do I trade, right? So it might be Apple, it might be Microsoft or whatever, right? So let me just start with it. So here you can see that this is just the Apple chart on a daily frame, say time frame. So I'm just checking 6 months, one day, nothing much. And my setup is very simple, the plain chart with MACD. This is not really required, but I do see it for my reference. So I just wanted to start now. I hope you people are able to hear me. Not sure what was wrong, but yeah. So let me just start, right? So here, what we have here is we can see Apple being rejected twice at the resistance level. So this was the high, and now we can see the same high level being taken and then rejected here, right? So a lot of us want to get in Apple, like in the sense like it's a very good opportunity to buy, and we wanted to buy where. And the only question we have is where to buy it and how do we trade it, right? So this is how I come up with my trade plan. So first of all, I just go with the simple channel and the support and the resistance level. So once I know my resistance level and support levels, I do check the channel and see if it is a bullish channel, bearish channel, or neutral, right? So there are sideways channel is something which I really don't want to trade until I see a breakout. So this is what we have in Apple. We see a bullish channel here and we see a rejection here. So what is the point of where we have to add it, right? So a lot of people go with the support levels here and they just trying to see if we see a double tap here and then go ahead. But instead of that, I just go with the fib levels. So when you're drawing fib levels, right, there are multiple ways to do it. So one of the ways, like a lot of people take the high, low and draw it, or they just take the recent swing or recent high and the previous low and tend to write a channel something like this. So let me just show it. So one way of doing is like just taking the highs, retracing it back to here because we are expecting a drop and we want to see where it drops really, and they tend to do something like this. But what I do and say in my own sense, right, so I just take the previous swing where I see a recent high, recent low and the price movement. So when drawing a recent high, I don't really just go here and take the first point, second point, and then I don't come up with a fib level, something like that. What I really tend to do is I just try to see if I can get a support level, in the sense like this is my high level, means say the previous high, but I tend to get the line where I can start from my fib level high. So one thing what we can see here is when I move here, the cursor, you can see I see a very good price action here. So near my high, right? So I'm just taking that. And even for the low, so usually, so this is my previous high. So I should get a low somewhere here in this swing. So what I usually do is, even for that, I try to see if I can get a very good support point here near my lows. So it might be the body or the wick. It's up to you. You don't have to really go with the wick, right? So what I usually do is I try to see if I can get a very good price action here or the support levels here and draw the fib levels. So this is how I draw my fib levels. And you can see a lot of price action here, right? Like say rejection, 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 support, support, and bones, right? So usually I go with only 38.2 and 61.8 fib levels. So other things I don't really care because these are the two fib levels a lot of people tend to use and tend to come up with, right? So let me just hide this. Yeah. So this is how I do it. So once I do it, now I can clearly see that it has been rejected at my resistance level and it is coming down towards the fib support level, which is 129.72, which is my 127.2 fib level. So you can see that there was a rejection here and the support here. So this will be my first entry point. So this is how I go with any of the tickers, right? So for example, let's see for Apple. So once I draw my fib levels on the daily chart, I usually go with the 30 minutes chart. So this is where I usually see what is the gap level and even the support. If there is a, after the gap fill, if there is any bounce which we can see, because I don't really have to wait till 120 to 129 level, right? So that is on my daily chart. Because of the, let's say, if spike goes up or even the market is very strong, I tend to see that most of the times on the 30-minute chart, we can see a gap fill and then bounce. So I don't have to really wait for my 129 levels. So here, if I come down here, I can see clearly that this was my gap. So let me just take this. And this was the previous high, right? So this was my gap level. And I can clearly see that there is some price action here. So I can see that Apple has been, let's say, bouncing off from the gap levels. But usually what I do is, so if you take this as the resistance and this as a support, I tend to wait for Apple to break out or break down for my entry. So here we can see that there is a consolidation which is going on. But most of the times what happens is that will fail to break the resistance level and tend to move towards my fib level. So I'll just have to wait for it. So this is when I add my stock into watch list. So I just add it to my watch list and see how it goes. Sure. So if you have any questions, just let's say ping me over Discord. I can just check there and answer here. So this is how usually I do go with. So this is for Apple as well. So for Apple to say on Monday, what we can do is we can just see if on the 30-minute chart, if the Apple tend to break out. If it is going to break out, we will have an entry here and wait for 135 and 137 levels to be taken out. So if it breaks down, we know the level to watch out for 129, right? So again, switching back to day level. So if we tend to break down this 129 levels as well, right? So the next thing what we can check is the channel. So for example, for some reason, there was a bad news and Apple really didn't hold this fib level. Then what I'll do is I will wait for my channel to be taken out. So just do, so which one did I do? So this is where my next levels would be. I will just try to see if I can get an entry near here. So where you can see there is a support here as well, in the sense like there was a price action in this area. So, and if I can get an entry here, I will just wait for it and then see what happens. So even if this entry is not taken, then I tend to short it and try to see if I can get a target of 118. So this is for Apple. So, and another thing, whatever we saw was Netflix, right? So I will just pause here for a while to see if there are any questions. So if there are any questions, please do let me know so that I can answer them. So moving on. So let me see. If there are no questions, I will just go with the next ticker, right? So the next ticker of me, let's say whatever I am looking at was Netflix. So Netflix was one more ticker where I saw a channel being held and the price action here, right? So let me just remove everything so that I can just start from the beginning and see, show you people like how I usually go with and what are the things I look at, right? So let me just remove this. So yeah, so when I start with, I just see check the support and resistance levels. So here, if you see, right, so I can see the lot of price action here, 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 and that was a previous resistance as well. So let's draw something here, which would be our support levels, right, on a daily chart. So moving on, let's go with the resistance levels. So you don't have to really go with the high here, right? Because we saw, we can see here it was a red candle. It's not really green candle where we saw a price being held and that would make it a high, right? So what I'm trying to see here is like I can just go with a very really nice resistance levels where I see a lot of price action, right? So if you can see here, this is where there are a lot of price action which happened. So I'm just taking it as resistance. So we got our support, we got our resistance. Now let's see in our recent swing, let's say low to high, if we can find some channel, right? So let us just see. I'm just taking the recent low here, which is our support as well, and try to see if I can. So come up with a channel. So I can just see here, we have a very nice channel here, right? So this is where we can see that the Netflix is being holding a bullish channel and means a bouncing off from support levels. So let me just auto zoom and go into my. So if you, I'm just doing this to get the zoom view of it, right? So I really don't know how to realistic for 1 year and 1 day. So I'm just, say once I do this support levels and resistance levels along with the channel, I'm just zooming in so we can get a very good clear view of it. So as we can see, it is holding a bullish channel here. So I can see a rejection here, rejection here, rejection here, and coming down. So let us see what is expected from Netflix, what is happening right here, right? So for that, let's go ahead and get our fib levels. So let me just take this. So I don't have to really go with the resistance and support for my fib levels, right? So what I'm trying to do here is trying to get a fib levels from my recent swing. So recent swing is something like this, not the present one. The recent swing where I saw my price going high and low from the once I getting rejected and getting my low, right? So if I just take this as my recent swing, so let's see if I can get a very good levels. So I can take this level itself because I see price action here, or I can go with this particular one where I see a bit of action, but let me just take this. And even for support, right? So I don't have to really go here for my support. So I'll just see for, so I'm just taking this because I see a lot of price action here. There was a support here, support here, support here, and so support here as well, which is the body of it, not really the wick, right? So I'm just taking this and see if I can see a lot of price action here. Yes. So rejection, support, rejection, support, rejection, support, right? So it's fine. So 3061.8 and 38.2. So I don't really see here because this is my real support, not the 0th level. So as we can see, even for Netflix, so after the year, we see a huge gap here, and it started, let's say, holding the support and bouncing back. It is forming a nice bull channel. So even here, the channel support as well as the fib level is where we saw our bounce, right? So 506 is where I can see, and it started going up. So here as well, like 525 levels is where it held and started moving up. So what we can see, right, in recent times, we can see that it is honoring the channel resistance. So for me to get an entry, this would have been my real entry level where I saw a bounce from here 525 and going up. So if you are trying to get an Netflix entry here, I would wait actually. So because I just want my channel to be broken, and don't worry guys, so the thing is like you will get a very good say entry here, and you can just aim for 581 or 557 as well. So it's not that you have to chase a stock, so you can just look at this and see if you can just wait or what is your next trade plan, right? So I'm just going into 30 minutes chart, and see these levels being held real well, right? Like 525.25. So there is no magic here, guys. So whatever I'm doing is like just getting a fib level on my daily chart and zooming into my 30 minutes and see where I can get an entry, right? So this would have been really good entry for Netflix. So here what we saw on Friday is very simple. Sorry, Thursday is very simple. Uh, it just, so this is my support, right? So what we saw is like on a 30-minute chart, 30 minutes chart, we saw interim support hold or the resistance where it broke the resistance and moving here, right? So it just held that level and moving up. So is it a good entry to get into Netflix, right? That's a question. Whatever I have is like, this might be a good entry, but we have a resistance level here. It's not that if I get a entry here, I am expecting something to go ahead and retest my, sorry, let me just, so there is a quite chance if we see a breakout here, we can see 557. So what I expect here is, if I am getting an, if I didn't get an entry here, I will just wait for an entry to be got here, like in the sense like the breakout, right? So we will see if we see a breakout, I will just get an entry and my target will be 557. Or if we see a rejection here, I will see if I can, let me say, if it reclaims 535, if it holds, then I will get my entry. If it doesn't hold, I know what is my next level to buy the stock, right? So hold, bounce, I will get an entry. If it breaks out, I will hold. If it doesn't break out, I will sell half of my stock and see if we can, if the price action moves back to 535 and bounce back. If it doesn't, I will sell it here. So it's not a shame, right? Like the thing is like I would have got some profit here along with my support here, so it's fine. So if it breaks out and moves along, we know the target to watch out for 557.77. So this is for Netflix. So let me make a note, right? So if I just want to, so ideal entry would be brief, sorry, 535 with support being 525, resistance being around, I would say 549 levels, or I can take it as a channel support, sorry, channel resistance, which might be around 547. Target would be 557, right? So this is how I come up with my trade plan. So this exactly is something which I look out for, right? So this is my trade plan for Netflix. And moving on. So we saw Apple, Netflix, and Nvidia is another stock which is moving along with the semis, right? So we see the semis being upgraded and moving on. So this is my old chart what I have for Netflix, sorry, Nvidia. So it is still honoring my trend line here. It might have dropped out, but it reclaimed back, but it's not able to really break out and move along. So what I can do is, let me just remove everything and draw from beginning so that you will know how I go ahead with it, right? So let's start with the same basic idea, right? So if we can get a support level, resistance level, and the channel. So let's see. So I don't want to really consider this because after around 928, I can see the price is consolidating between these levels. So in this case, what I usually tend to do, right? I will try to see the resistance level here, which acted as a support level, right? That will be my support. Say, for example, if you consider this price action or this price level, right? So particularly this one. So this will act as my support. I really don't have to come here and say, okay, hey guys, this is my support, right? Because I'm just consider my, say I'm considering my recent swing. In my recent swing, I see the price action between these levels. So I don't see it is being broken and going here. Anyway, this was a resistance level here, or support levels here, and support levels here. So this should be good enough for our support. And for my resistance, I can go with this because I see the price action being rejected here twice, right? But I am trying to consider this as my resistance level here because I'm just considering my body here, the body of the wick, I mean say the candle, and the wick here, the rejection. So I can consider it as it tried to break out for twice and then rejected. So I don't have to really go ahead with the high as my resistance actually. So this will be my resistance level. So here I don't really have to draw a channel, right? Because it is very clear or evident from this support and resistance that it's been consolidated, I mean, say consolidating between these levels. So this is in sideways. I don't have to really look out for a channel. In this case, what I try to do is come up with the trend lines and see if I can come up with a really nice trend line and see the price being held or rejected, right? So if you see here, this is my trend line with my recent lows, and I can see it's been honored here. So very nice support here, and then let me just activate it. So the thing is very simple, guys. So you don't have to really go with the wick. So you can go with the body as well. In the sense like I'm taking a wick here, and here the trend line support is my body actually. So body of the candle. So you don't have to really go with the wick itself. So that's fine actually, because you don't see a candle being closed below this level, right? So it's fine until unless you see something like that. So, and the next thing, whatever I see here is, I'm trying to see if I can come up with the same trend line here, which is acting as my resistance, right? So we see we were not able to come up with a channel because it's sideways action. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get a trend line. So this is a very good trend line here with the resistance levels and the support levels. So let's go back and see if we can come up with the fib levels for our entries and targets, right? So let me just take this. So here I'm just going with the reset swing, which is the top here, and even I can see flat top rejection. So I'm just taking that as my fib high. And there are two options here actually. Whenever I'm coming with a fib low, right? Like I can just take the support, or I can take the wick here and see, or the if I can get very good support levels or the uh, low levels here, right? So as I can see here, this point here, and the body here, and the wick here is, let's say, in the same line. So I can take it as a very good levels to come up with my swing low. So you don't have to really go with the support levels itself. So here what I did is with the wick here, I'm trying to see if I can get a very good support or resistance levels here. And I see a resistance level here, support levels here actually. So I'm just taking that as my low. So I see a very good price action here on my 38.2 rejection, support, 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 and I see supports and rejections here. So it's fine. So this fib level is really good for me because even for 38.2 and 61.8, I see the price action being supported or rejected here, right? So I'm just trying to get these levels. So now for my trade plan, right? So I have my fib levels, I have my trend levels, and I have my support and resistance. Now I'm going with my trade plan. So if I want to get an entry for say Nvidia, right? So here I can see very good hold of this trend line. So I can get an entry here and take this as my stop loss, or wait for the resistance to be broken and get an entry around 38.2 fib level, right? Which is 524 levels. So that would be my trade plan actually. So what I will do is, because it's getting very narrow, right? The thing is like the price action is being consolidated here and it's being squeezed here. So what I'm going to do is let me just take the notes right. So for me, I will wait for Nvidia to break the resistance and the fib level here, which is uh, break, say, entry on the break of 38.2 percentile, which is 524.44. I will make it as 525. So there is 525, and support is my trend line, right? Or if you are very, let's say, if you are okay to hold your positions for some time, right? You can take 502 as your support level as well. But for now, actually, because uh, it's been consolidated, I don't think it will break these levels and go down to 502. That's my assumption based on the price action here. So support is my trend line, or I can say, let me see. Let me just go to 30 minutes chart to get my interim support, right? So intermediate support levels here could be around, say, if I come up with a, so this could be my support levels or my, so why am I taking this as my support levels, right? Why am I not going here and taking this as my support level, right? So what I'm trying to do here is I'm taking my recent swing. I always go with the recent swing. Don't worry about the previous one, right? So previous one will give us an idea on how it is behaving. But whenever I'm getting, trying to get my entry, I always go with my recent swing. So this was the low, started to go back up and then coming down, right? So when it is coming down, these are the levels where it is holding, right? See, one, I'm just taking the body. Actually, you don't have to really go with a wick. Wick is always a price action which people tend to buy, sell a lot of things, right? So just take a body here. I'm taking the body here, and even I see a lot of very good support here as well. So I'm taking this as my support. So when I'm trying to get an entry, that is what I will do. Let me just activate this, get it here. So support is my trend line or interim support of, oh man, sorry, 518, right? So yeah. Support of 518, right? And my targets are, which is the fib level 543 and 573. So always get your targets on the daily chart, not on the 30 minutes chart. So your stop loss or your entry will be based on the 30 minutes chart, and your targets will always be on the daily level charts, not on the 30 minutes chart, until unless you are doing a scalp or day trade, right? So don't really go with that. So this is my trade plan for Nvidia. So let me just go and get a zoom in chart. Where did it go, man? Come on, sorry. So this is my trade plan for Nvidia. Entry on the back of 38.2 percentile, which is 525. So support is my trend line or interim support based on the 30 minutes chart, which is 518. And my target is 543 and 547, sorry, 573 based on my fib levels of daily chart or the resistance, right? So this is my first target, second target, and third target. So this is how it is. This is how I do, right? So this is how I come up with my trade plan. So I think I covered Apple, Netflix, and Nvidia. So I'm open for suggestions, right? So come up with question here is, my question will be, how do I get an idea on that you need to look at the Netflix, Apple, or any other stocks, right? So guys, so you just take S&P 500. So which is happening very, so the thing is like very simple, right? If you see any of these stocks, it might be Nvidia, Netflix, SQ, PayPal. So PayPal, I will remove it actually, sorry, because PayPal doesn't really give us very good returns on move, right? So the thing is like if you take S&P 500 and most recently, I mean, say most highest traded stocks. So these are few of the things which go around, right? So there are multiple ways you can do. One is, as I say, right, we have our uh, so the thing is like we have our algo swing beta and algo swing day trade beta, right? So if you just go ahead with day trade beta itself, you will get a lot of tickers which are of high interest in the sense like they are going back on 15 minutes chart. So that will be your good watch list. So get some tickers from that wherever you see there will be a lot of price action and a lot of options. So the thing is like, let me just give you an example, right? So that will give you a very good clarity on how I take my tickers, right? So for example, Netflix, for every $1 move on the stock, or there will be at least 10 to 15, sorry, $15 move in your options. When say the thing is like up or down, that is why usually you can see even Guru, right? You would have seen he likes SQ or the Square Cash, right? Like because $1 move in Square Cash actually will give you around $20 to $30 move in your options. So that is how it's very simple, right? Like so you pick your stocks which is very liquid. So don't go with something where there is very less people or very less option interest, right? So go with the stocks which is very liquid and very good fundamentals. Take 5 to 10 stocks of your own, right? So you don't have to really go with all the stocks in the world, right? So you just take 4 to 5 or even 10 to 20 stocks in your watch list and try to see if you can come up with a trade plan every day, right? So if you're going long, so that is where I come here to just say that, okay, if you're going long, just try to get these stickers, come up with a trade plan every day and see how it is going, right? So that is how I can look at, right? So I think Fez, I think I answered your question. OI for sure. I really don't give volatility or IV or any of those things, right? So I see volume, option interest, and if the stock is liquid stock or very good interest in that stock, right? So that is where I see, and I have other ways of doing it, right? So the thing is like I have my own stock scanner where I come up with these entries as well. So MO, SPC, CRWD, or other tickers wherever I see and what do you say opportunity go long, I don't hesitate to go long. So most of my entries will be in February or in April or March, right? Because we will get a lot of time to what do you say average down or just hold it, right? So the thing is like until you have a very good trade plan, you don't have to really worry about it. So that's what I do. Next thing, how do I confirm the price in channel, right? So that's what you saw, right? Like I do go with the daily chart, not hourly or minute, 30 minutes or 4 hours, right? So what I do really is go with the daily chart, which has very good option for you to go and see if the channel is being held, the support and resistance. So for your intraday, you can do the same thing on 30 minutes chart as well. But if you see, right, there will be a lot of gap ups and gap down. So you will not really get very good channel there. But if you go with a daily chart, right, you will get a very good channel and it can be of your reference. So if I just go with 30 minutes itself, right, if I just go here, let me see, right, if I can. So if you see here itself, right, if I go with my 30 minutes, so I will not get very good channel here because the price action here, the price action here, the price actions here. So you will be surprised because the thing is like you will not get very good entry of it, right? So if I just change it to daily chart, so the trend line will be very simple and very easy to draw. You don't have to really worry about 30 minutes or 1 hour or 4 hours, right? So that's how I do. So a lot of people have their own style, but this is my thing. That is one thing. Next thing, let me just go. Can you reset those hard and fast rules? Proper time when selecting support and resistance and targets. So let me just summarize it, right? So for my support and resistance and even targets, I go with daily time frame. So the entry will be based on my 30 minutes. So I don't really go with 4 hours because it's very similar to day, right? So 4 hours and day chart, there will be not even a single bit of difference. The thing is like, except for the wicks, you see the similar chart. So I don't really have to go with that. So when I go with 30 minutes, right? So as you can see, I get an entry here along with my support here. So if I want to stop out, right, I don't have to really wait for my channel support here. So I can just take an entry on the break of 524 with my interim support of 518. So in this case, actually, to be very frank, so it is very close, the trend line and the support level. So, but if you take any other tickers, so let me see if I can come up with Netflix itself, right? Whatever we discussed. So yeah, see here, right? So if you see here, so this will be my channel, low and high. So if I'm taking an entry based on the daily chart, right, then I have to wait for Netflix to really test here. But the thing is, like, if I see a breakout here, then I will lose my trade, right? The thing is, like, I will not get this level again because this was my first opportunity wherever I would have got my entry, right? Because it was very close to my channel and even the fib level of 505. But if I try or wait for a price to retest 525 with the market being bullish, I don't think I will be getting an entry here. So if I want to really get an entry, then I will wait for this channel break, get an entry. This will be my support. I don't have to really wait for 525 or even 505. So 535 will be my good stop loss. I think I answered your question here. Next thing, how do you pick up the strike option? So yeah, so the thing is, like, so you saw my trade plan, right? So my ideal entry would be 525, which is my support levels, or ideal entry, sorry, the breakout levels of 535, right? So whenever I have something like that, so I tend to see if I can get near the money or 540 levels, because if you see, let me just show here. Yeah, so if you just take this daily chart, right? So this is how I go with my entry. So the thing is, on each day, so I can see there is a price action of like around like $10, right? So 520 to 530 here as well, 530 to, so 523. So it's around, if I take an average, right, on a daily chart, the stock tends to move around $7 to $10 every day. So even if I take this as a week, right, so 532 to 520, $10, 530 to 520, $10, 526 to 514. Again, it's around $10, right? So if you take a daily chart, that stocks goes on an average $7 to $10 up and down, right? So if I'm taking an ITL entry at 535 and my target is around 557, I will go with an option of 540 because 35. Because if I am going, so the thing is, like, if I take a 550 or 560 OTM, right? The problem is if I see a breakdown here and tends to go to 525 because it's $10, right? 535 and 525 is $10. So if I tend to go with the stock tend to goes towards 525, my OTM will be under very huge loss. So I don't want to take it, right? So I usually go with $10. So if I'm taking an entry at 535, so 545 or 540 will be my target or the strike. So I usually go with 540 because I will get a $5 buffer, right? The thing is, like, I might get lucky and the stock can move around 545. So $5 in the money will give you a lot of gains. So that's how I do it. And if you see, a lot of my trades will be based on the monthlies. I don't really go with weeklies, right? So I will go with 1 month or 2 months ahead. So that will give me a lot of profits here. So I think I answered about the strike option. So take any stocks, guys. So just go with the daily chart and see what is the ideal move of the stock. So on a day, how much the stock will go up or down. So based on that, you can come up with your strikes. Because I'm going to get on the break, right? So I will go with $10 out the money. Scans, sorry guys, I can't share it actually because that is something which, because anyway I am already sharing the scan results in algo swing beta, right? So there you will get the entries, so that is fine. Do you draw your fib on daily? Yes, I always draw my fib levels on daily chart. If I'm doing a what do you say, day trade, then I will go with 30 minutes. So for day trades, 30 minutes will be my fib levels, and for longs, day charts actually, nothing less than that. Yep. So I think I covered most of it, guys. So if you have any questions, please do ping me, or yeah, I will try to do this live sessions once in a while so that I can show how I really go out getting the trade plan right. So yeah, thank you guys. Happy New Year, and thanks for your time. And let's catch up again sometime next week. Thank you. Thanks a lot.